It's a pleasure to be here. Before I start off, I'm going to take exactly 2 minutes to talk about why I appreciate this platform. In our country, in India, you can buy an award for yourself. Do you know that? You can buy an award, you can buy a reward. There are rewards being sold all over our country. This platform, I was part of the jury. No one got it easy. It was intensive hours of going through some of the finest talent across the country. Do you know how much of talent we have in our own country in India? I was amazed to see under 40. So many people that we interviewed, so many people in the space of medicine, lifestyle, yoga, astrology, you name it, everything that builds great health together. And it's such an honest platform because, like I said, you couldn't buy an award over here. And that's why I appreciate Dr. Annurag Batra and this amazing platform created today. We're in an honest event. That's all I can say. While some of you would have paid money for all of this, you get what you pay for in life. I think the sooner we learn that, the more we start to chase free, we block abundance that exists in the world. A lot of free stuff you can get and you limit your abundance, but value in life, you got to pay for it sometimes. And when you understand the wisdom behind paying for something and always spending a lifetime searching for free stuff, like I said, you get what you pay for. You pay for cheap food, you get poor health. Everyone says, oh, food's become expensive. Food is not a cost. It's an investment that you make in yourself. The day we understand that, we can live on the cheapest foods that are available in shops and supermarkets across our country. But when you look in the spectrum of disease, it's the cheapest foods that are causing debt and suffering and disease across our country today. So thank you so much. He actually put me on a pedestal with his kind words, which makes me very shy when I look at the list of speakers that we have today. I'm honored to be among so many people. I am only as successful as the team that I have backing me. I am only as successful as my patient's recovery. It's as simple as that. There is so much to learn every single day from my patients, from people like you, all the speakers today. I have patients who come to me who have spoken to Dr. Mickey Mehta, and he's influenced them in so many different ways. And likewise, no one heals because of one person. We heal and we get better because of the value that we take from everyone around us. Let's get right into it today. Holistic wellness. When I saw all the talent available today, and you're going to see that when we have the award ceremony today, the question that comes, we're a country in India where we advance in technology. We have top doctors across the world in our country. We have nutritionists, we have gyms, we have personal trainers. We're the home of yoga. We have meditation, we have everything in this amazing country. But reflect on this. We also lead the world when it comes to being the most diabetic country in the world, the most cancerous country in the world, and the country that leads with cardiovascular disease. Now think about this. This should make you think. In this country, when we have so much of talent, so much of good food, we have the best of both, good and bad. There's good medicine, there's bad medicine. There's good nutrition, there's bad nutrition. There's good yoga, there's bad yoga. Okay, that exists in every country in the world. But my point is, when we have so much of the good, why are we a sick nation? Why do we have to see our elderly communities suffering with disease and pain? While India says, oh, we're resilient, and we celebrate resilience when there are bomb blasts, there are floods and stuff like that. Sometimes this resilience has to be toned down. We got to learn from what we see above. How many more people have to die from lifestyle diseases which are caused by poor lifestyle? And that can be prevented and reversed with a change in lifestyle. But no, we're resilient. A couple of people die, we're sad for a while, and we get back to our same old lives without making the change. So today, my worry right now and my concern is, when we have so much of talent, how many of us are actually going to start using it? It's easy to talk. It's easy to preach. We have access to all the knowledge in the world on the internet, in the Vedas, in the scriptures, but knowledge is useless without action. Knowledge is useless without practice. Let me tell you a story. There was a woodcutter that lived in a forest. This woodcutter was known to have the hand of God. He could cure people through his advice. So businessmen from all over the country would come down to this forest and go and meet the woodcutter. There was one businessman who went to the woodcutter and said, I need to make more money. Money will make me happy. Can you please tell me how I can make more money? The woodcutter said, keep walking in this direction. He pointed into a direction and you'll find ways to make money. So the businessman walked for a while. He found a way to make money, and all of a sudden, he had an abundance of wealth. 6 months later, he went back to the woodcutter. He said, thank you so much. The direction that you pointed me in, I've built wealth. You know what? I want a big house now, and I want a car. Can you please help me? So the woodcutter nodded and said, walk in that direction, and you'll find the ways to do that. So he walked and he found ways to buy a brand new house and a car. 6 months later, he went back to the woodcutter and he said, you know what? I have all of this stuff now. I want to feel a little bit famous. I want fame. I want people to recognize how much wealth I have. So the woodcutter said, now walk in this direction. So the man walked in that direction. He found fame. A couple of months later, he comes back to the woodcutter. He said, thank you for everything. I have everything. I just want to be happy now. I just want happiness. So the woodcutter, and he said, I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to walk as much as you tell me to. The woodcutter looked at him and said, you don't have to walk. You got to sit here now, and the direction that you have to go is inwards. The point of the story is today, all of us are looking for solutions outside of us. And like I said, while the talent exists, the knowledge exists, I'm not going to be telling y'all whether y'all should have dairy today or not. I'm not going to tell you whether a low-carb diet works or a high-protein diet works. No, I'm not going to tell that to you, because that's not the kind of knowledge you need. What you need is to pause and start looking inwards and start asking you these questions. Instead of searching for happiness on social media, the answer is already within you. You know what makes you truly happy. You know what diet suits you. If you have a disease, you already know what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. If you have diseases and conditions because you're not sleeping well at night, you already know what you should be doing to sort that out. The point is, we have to start looking inwards, which brings us to the pandemic. The amount of talks and interviews that I've done, people are like, Luke, the pandemic's come on and this is what's happened. It's no big deal. I'm not talking about no big deal in a derogatory way. I know people have lost loved ones. All I'm saying is the pandemic is just a new problem in a different context. People were still not exercising when there was no pandemic. People were still sad and depressed when there was no pandemic. People were still sleep deprived when there was no pandemic. People were still eating junk food when there was no pandemic. So now all of a sudden, oh, there's a pandemic and people's lifestyles are all going out of place. That's not the truth. It's just a different context. How many of you know people during the pandemic? Two groups of people. Some of them changed their health for good. They lost that weight. Most of their diseases got better. They started to embrace sleep because they had the time to sleep. Some of them built new business empires. Some of them who were laid off from jobs because of the pandemic, they used that part to build new companies and they'll never ever go back to their jobs. How many of you know people like that? All of us. And how many of you know people who lost their health during the pandemic because they got lazy? They had excuses that the gyms are closed, I can't work out. They started eating more food. They started consuming more entertainment and sleeping less. So you see, was the pandemic really the problem? Or was it the mindset and the behavior of people? You can have the best medicine in the world. You can have the best nutrition, the best yoga expert. But if you are not willing to make the change, if you are not willing to take the right action, if you are not willing to accumulate small wins every day, health is always going to be a problem. Today, healthcare is sick care. The infrastructure is dealing with more and more sick people. So what do we do to change all of that? Do you think a problem caused by sleep deprivation can be fixed with a pill? Do you think that obesity caused by a sedentary lifestyle can be fixed with a fat burner? Do you think that your emotional negativity or the despair or the depression that you're going through, if it's caused by a particular person or a relationship, can be fixed by something else. Holistic medicine recognizes the root cause of the problem. While we have great symptomatic treatment in the field of allopathy, medicine, and everything else, yes, we need it. There's nothing wrong with allopathy. Allopathy becomes a problem when you become dependent on it and you don't change or address the root cause of your problem. I had a young girl. She said, Luke, I'm getting a headache constantly. I've been to several doctors. I've taken all the possible pills. Okay, how long do you sleep? I can only sleep 2 to 3 hours because I'm busy on YouTube and I'm trying to become a YouTube creator and all of that stuff. I said, when do you not have a headache? She said, the days I sleep well. So, do you think sleep's going to solve a problem or more pills? She needed pills initially, but now she needs a lifestyle change. We specialize in integrative oncology. Our job is to work with cancer patients. So let me give you my learnings from handling some of the most deadliest diseases in the world. Do you think cancer patients need more complication in their treatment? I'll tell you the top 4 things that most of our cancer patients need. And while some of them survive and move into remission, some of them don't. The first thing that they need and that we need, and there are 4 pillars of holistic wellness. Sleep. I'm so happy that we have speakers today who are going to talk about the importance of sleep. Human beings are the only species who compromise sleep and think it's okay. You consume social media and you see billionaires in the world saying, oh, I sleep only 4 hours. And we think that, oh, because you sleep 4 hours, you can become a billionaire. How many people do we know who sleep 4 hours? Are they billionaires? So that's not the equation or the formula to become a billionaire. Less sleep. No. In fact, most of the billionaires that I deal with sleep 8 to 9 hours every single night because they are without sleep. I can't think, I can't be creative, I can't make more money. Sleep is everything. Everyone during the pandemic, how do we boost immunity? Dr. Mickey Mehta has written a fabulous book around that. Yes, we have turmeric, garlic, ginger, asanas, pranayamas, all of that stuff, but never also forget that scientific and medical advice shows us today, research shows us that 2 to 3 nights of sleep deprivation decreases your immune system. Your NK cells, those are your natural killer cells that protects us against cancers, germs, pathogens, viruses. It decreases that by 60 to 70%. Do you think turmeric can save you now? No. Sleep is the fundamental of human health, period. You cannot heal without sleep. All healing happens in the presence of deep sleep. Diabetes, sugar levels are high today. Sleep deprivation as well. People are like, I have the best diabetologist, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Your levels are fluctuating. Sleep better. If you're sleep deprived, it's going to get better. I can guarantee you one thing, and let this go on record. Immunity became a buzzword during the pandemic. Although immunity is the fundamental of human health. It is your first and last line of defense against every single disease. You know what the next buzzword's going to be? Any guesses? Inflammation. Because every disease that you know of today is an inflammatory condition. Cancers, cardiovascular, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, obesity, diabetes, inflammatory, medically documented as inflammatory conditions caused by chronic inflammation in the human body. Everyone heard about the cytokine storm, why people died during the COVID, right? That was your own immune system creating inflammation, good as a response, bad when it went out of control. It didn't know how to switch off inflammation. So that own inflammation killed many patients. Inflammation will become the buzzword. And today, in holistic wellness, it revolves around 4 verticals. What foods do I eat to train my immune system, keep inflammation low, nourish trillions of cells that make up this beautiful body? Second, movement. How active can I be? It doesn't matter whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, a billionaire, a film star. Your body doesn't care about who you are. Your body wants good food and nourishment, movement so it can create blood circulation. Third, sleep. Fourth, emotional wellness. How many of you woke up today and did some yoga asanas? Put your hands up. How many of you did some pranayama? How many of you had that healthy breakfast, a fruit platter, or whatever it is that's healthy for you? But my question is, how many of you woke up feeling good about yourself? Because that's great health as well. How many of you know people who constantly eat organic food and exercise and they're health obsessed, but they're always still sick? I know many people like that because they never know how to feel good about themselves. There's a term in medicine called homeostasis. When you're in homeostasis, your heart's beating at the right rate, your pulse is at the right rate, your breath is at the right rate. Homeostasis. When we move out of homeostasis, there's disharmony that brings in disease, high blood pressure, inflammation, and all of that stuff. When we're constantly unhappy, when we're constantly stressed out, we're not in homeostasis. The body can't heal no matter how many pumpkin seeds you're eating, no matter how much of pranayama you're doing. You have to be in homeostasis for the body to work its intelligence for you. So emotional wellness is everything. Today we have top cardiologists, oncologists telling their patients, listen, you got to stop taking stress, otherwise you cannot get better. My medicine won't work for you if you're constantly stressed. Now don't be afraid. There are two kinds of stress. There's good stress and bad stress. Short stressors are great for us. It's actually good for your immune system. It motivates us to be good in life. Imagine if you have no stress of, making a livelihood. You wouldn't get up to go to work. So that little stress that, oh, I have a job, I need to earn money, pay the bills, that stress pushes you to work. Good stress. The bad stress is the chronic stress, the problems that you can't let go of. That thing that person said about me, she judged me, he judged me, and it's playing on your mind. You constantly want more and more and more of everything, and that now becomes your biggest stressor. In less than a minute, let me tell you how stress creates the deadliest of diseases. Because a lot of people say, oh, stress, Luke, come on, everyone has it. Yes, everyone has it. But my point is, what are you doing about it? Because it is your biggest obstacle. So very quickly, when you get stressed, your cortisol and adrenaline levels rise. That's a good thing because that prepares us for the fight and flight response. Great thing. The stress is over, your cortisol, adrenaline comes down. When you're chronically stressed, you get up stressed, you're in a hurry, you're thinking, you're multitasking. Cortisol goes up, adrenaline goes up. Along with that, your testosterone levels fall. These are all hormones I'm talking about. All our health is dependent on our hormonal balance today. So listen to this. Cortisol goes up, adrenaline goes up, testosterone comes down, estrogen goes up, progesterone falls down. Okay? All of these hormones in imbalance are linked to every possible disease that we have. Hormonal cancers, weight gain, PCOS, ovarian issues, endometriosis, everything is a hormonal imbalance. So when you look at integrated medicine, how do I first balance hormones so my body can do its own work? So chronic stress, you are chronically imbalanced with your hormones. What is the job of a hormone? A hormone is a chemical messenger. It is telling your cells what to do. Do this, stop doing this. Communication in a relationship. How many of you agree it's the most important thing? In any relationship, communication. What happens if there's a breakdown in communication? There's a breakdown in a relationship. What do you think happens when there's a breakdown in communication between your cells? The communication between a healthy cell and an abnormally growing rogue cell, which is also a cancer cell. It's a breakdown in communication. Why did your immune system miss it? Why is there inflammation in your heart? Those are the instructions your own cells have given. The instructions have not come from the outside world. It's come from your inner world. The way you slept last night impacts your hormones. The food you ate impacts your hormones. The kind of exercise, did you under-exercise or even over-exercise? Your thoughts, if you're in a toxic environment, how do you feel? Is your body posture positive? Do you feel happy and great when you're in a toxic environment? Or do you have to pretend to be happy? Pretense is also a very negative, draining emotion. So you see, we've not even spoken about medicine and turmeric and garlic. That's the next level. The first level is, how do we create an external environment where we thrive and an internal environment where our cells thrive? Because we are a product of our cells. Yes, you can eat for your genes. The biggest excuse in India is, oh, I'm fat because my parents are fat. It's hereditary. No? I got diabetes. Oh, my mom is also diabetic. Yes, genes play a role in 4 to 5% of the cases. What about the balance 95%? All of us have heard of something called epigenetics. What does epigenetics mean? Epi in Greek means environment. We know today that your genes can change according to your environment. So if I create a toxic environment or an unhealthy environment, my genes can actually switch on a disease. And if I create the right environment, my genes can actually switch off a disease. That's what genetics is all about. So there are these 4 pillars. I'm going to break them down one by one and leave you with 2 or 3 tips that I want you to reflect on. No, I'm not giving you a diet plan because diets don't work. How many people have tried one diet, moved to the next and the next and the next? It doesn't work. And why doesn't it work? I'm going to introduce you to a concept called biometrics. Why does biometrics work? Do you know there are no 2 identical people in this world? Even identical twins have a different thumbprint. So biometrics is successful because of the uniqueness of a thumbprint. When you are looking at changing your health today, or reversing a disease, or building great health, just remember the first word is uniqueness. All of us are different. You cannot be me, and I cannot be you, period. And so everyone who's worried about people copying them, oh, I put up this idea, now someone's going to copy and I won't be successful. No, people can copy what they want, but they can never be you, and you can never be them. So when you embrace the intelligence of uniqueness, the food that works for one person doesn't have to work for the second. So every time you're downloading and copying people's diets from the internet or from Bollywood or from Hollywood and stuff and wondering why it doesn't work and why you don't look like that particular person when you follow their regime, it's because it never can. You're unique. Some bodies over here will be carb efficient, but you're trying to do a low carb diet because apparently that's what the buzzword is, and you're not achieving your goals. What if you are carb efficient and you work better with carbs and you don't work better with more protein? Everyone is different. Some people metabolize protein way better than someone who doesn't. Some people work with more macros of fat. Some people, but what the biggest problem is, people have put themselves into a box. I'm on a low carb diet. I'm doing a keto. I'm doing a 16-8 fasting. I say, why not 17? Have you tried 15? They don't have an answer. How can you ever be successful when you're trying to put uniqueness into a box? Some people get the same benefits of an 18-hour fast in 12 hours. So inwards, we have to now start looking inwards to determine how we want our health and our life to be. We can read. Today evening, we have fantastic speakers as well. I've had the privilege of working with Sister B.K. Shivani, Mr. Gaur Gopal Das. They speak spirituality. But we all agree on one common term. You can try to be as spiritual as you want. But if you don't practice what you learn, what's the point? There are people hiding behind religion, hiding behind spirituality. They're great at talking about some quote that they read in the Vedas or in the Bible. But when you ask them, are you practicing it? No, I can't do it. Every religion and spiritual path talks about the power of forgiveness. Every spiritual path talks about the power of acceptance, letting go, taming the ego and the pride. But yet, how many of us actually try to practice it? And that's why our lives never change. And we're looking for the next best thing, the next fancy fad that exists, the next word from a spiritual leader or a nutritionist or a doctor. And we never get better because we're constantly like the businessman, walking. We're not pausing to look inside and say, my unhappiness is caused because of my ego. My disease is caused because of my greed. My suffering is caused because of my inability to forgive today. And are we willing to put in the work that it takes to sort that out? You think a diet plan can solve these problems now? Absolutely not. Do you think more exercise can sort this problem? Absolutely not. So the point of holistic wellness is, let's break it down. Nutrition, you are what you eat and you are what you absorb what you eat. It's as simple as that. The biggest problems in our country right now, late night meals, waking up with acidity, constipation. Commonalities in every cancer case, every single deadly disease. Okay? While we focus on the grander things, we're not looking at things like constipation, acidity. It doesn't mean you're sick. When you're constipated, when you're acidic, your body's trying to tell you something. Listen, it's trying to tell you you're not eating right. You're not drinking enough of water. You lack fiber. You lack activity. But we're searching for complicated solutions. Every symptom is not a dangerous thing. Every symptom is your body trying to tell you, listen to me. I'm trying to tell you something's wrong. You wake up tired and you need to reach out for your first mug of coffee. I don't have a problem with coffee. But the point is, your body's trying to tell you, sleep better. Coffee may solve your problem for the next 2 hours, but you're missing the root cause of your problem. So when it comes to exercise, to nutrition, like I said, I'm not going to talk about diet plans today. I'm just going to give you 2 or 3 tips in each of these because you have a vast variety of talent that is going to speak to you all today. When it comes to nutrition, bless your food with gratitude. You may not be religious. Don't say a prayer. Just be thankful for the food that you get. The healthiest people I know eat the simplest food. The simplest food, but they eat it with gratitude. They eat it with happiness. They slow down and they eat, and they chew their food. We work with less privileged people. Do you think they can eat the kind of food we have? Do you think they can afford it? Yet they're healthier than most of us who are trying to do avocados and all of these things. I don't have a problem with avocados, but don't think you're getting healthier because you're eating avocados if you're not compromising on the rest of your lifestyle. So when I look at my poor and underprivileged people that we work, they eat simple food, khichdi, jowar, bajra, but they're eating on time, they're eating happily, they're active, sleeping well at night because they're tired, because they're active. Simplicity. Doesn't matter whether you're a CEO, a billionaire, embrace simplicity. When you need to show off at your entertainment sessions, it's like you can order lobster and have a glass of champagne to show, because apparently that's what you need to do to keep your status up. But when you look inwards, you'll also find that you don't have to do that. You want people to respect you for who you are, not what you try to be. So when it comes to food, stay away from junk food. Okay, when I say I'm not being extreme, I love a packet of chips, I like ice cream, I like all of that stuff, but I'm going to do it in a disciplined way. 6 good days a week, 1 day, eat what you want. That's life. It makes me happy, I'm fit, everything's good. You don't have to go to extremes like some people. I don't touch sugar, I don't do this. And then they're just mentally unhappy because they're craving it all the time. Remember, you're not happy, you don't feel good, physical manifestation of poor health. Balance. If you find yourself eating more junk and less good food, now that's a problem that you need to sort out. Greed, gluttony, accept it. We don't like to hear these words, but if it's the truth and you want to change a problem, you got to accept the truth. Keep your food simple. Eat at the right time. Stop eating so much all the time. You've not even finished digesting your breakfast, you'll be snacking. You won't finish digesting your snacks, it'll be lunchtime. You're constantly eating, and that's why we have so much of disease, along with other factors. Learn to respect hunger. Eat only when your body tells you, hey, I'm ready to eat. How does your body tell you that? I'm hungry now. Now eat. Hunger is a signal that your body's finished digesting everything that you've eaten before. Now eat and enjoy what you eat. So chew your food, eat slow. Okay. A lot of people say, oh, look, I have a business deal. I don't know a single billionaire who lost a deal because they decided to chew their food a little longer and extend their meal time. I don't know a single billionaire like that. They don't exist. So food, keep it simple. Eat for you. You have a particular disease and it requires you to eat a particular way. You got to respect that if you want to get better. You want to lose weight. Do you really think weight loss is around nutrition and exercise alone? Absolutely not, because everyone should be fit then. Because everyone's on a diet, but it's not working for everyone. Exercise. You're either undertraining or overtraining. You do what makes you happy and gives you your goal. If CrossFit works for you, do CrossFit. If yoga works for you, with cardio, if weight training, if dancing works for you, do it. Don't do what the whole world is doing. You do what suits you, your body goal, and your body type. But the word I'm going to add here is consistency. If you take up an activity, do it consistently. Sleep. Stop compromising your sleep. All the young girls who have PCOS today, hormonal issues, I'll tell you up front, it's because of junk food and lack of sleep. Insulin resistance is a huge problem. It doesn't mean you're diabetic. It's a huge problem in our country. And unless you sort that out, nothing's going to work. So then the next thing, you're put onto a birth control. How long can you be on a birth control? 3 months, 6 months? After that, there are girls on it for 2 years. Huge problems. Address the root cause. I'm going to teach you one quick way to reset your sleep. I'm keeping my eyes on the timer. We have exactly 10 minutes and 30 seconds left. While you can do chamomile tea, you can do left nostril breathing. All of these things are fantastic for sleep. If you want to reset the rhythm, sleep is a rhythm. If you've disrupted the rhythm, you got to reset it. Okay, how do you reset the rhythm of sleep? Select a time in the morning that you're going to wake up at, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Set that time. No matter what time you sleep at night, for the next 1 week, you wake up at that time and you get out of bed. So if you slept at 2 in the morning, but you set your wake up time at 5, I don't care. Get up at 5. Don't take an afternoon nap. Okay, at all. Do this for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. In most cases, by the 3rd day, you'll find yourself going to bed earlier. And you'll find yourself waking up at the same time without an alarm. You got to reset the rhythm. So there will be 3 to 4 days of discomfort. What's wrong with discomfort? Social media marketing has sold us a lie of comfort. Do we really have to be comfortable all the time? How many of you have tried sleeping on the ground, on a thin mattress, not on a big mattress on a bed? Try it. Doesn't mean you're poor. Doesn't mean you don't have money. Buy a thin mattress and for 1 week, sleep on that thin mattress. It will teach you a lot about life, your posture, back pains, a lot of things will change. Because we think in the name of comfort, all those thick mattresses actually making your back weaker and weaker. I'm not saying go to extremes. I'm just teaching you that sometimes simplicity and what our ancestors used to do are the things that we should do today. Most of them, not everything. So reset your sleep cycle like this. So now I've not told you to stop watching Netflix. I've not told you to stop watching TV. I've just told you to reset your sleep cycle. So if I'm used to watching Netflix every day at 10 o'clock, but now because I reset my cycle and I can't keep my eyes open at 10 o'clock, I don't watch Netflix automatically without me having to tell you, don't do this, don't do that, because it never works. When you tell a human not to do something, they want to do it all the more. So you do it by resetting your own rhythm. Sleep, I can guarantee you, if you're sick and you sleep better, you will start to get better. You cannot lose body fat if you're sleep deprived. Body fat loss happens while you sleep. Remember that. The final 4th vertical before I end, emotional wellness. You have experts who are going to break this down in detail. But from my experience, I'll just tell you what works for all of us and our patients around the world. There are 3 words that if you master, no matter how much of stress you have in your life, you will start to feel better. The absence of stress in your life doesn't mean happiness. Remember that. The absence of stress doesn't mean happiness. I know a lot of people who are stressed, but they can still be happy. The 3 words are mindfulness. Cultivate the practice of mindfulness. Because when you put mindfulness in the way you eat, you become aware of the foods that make you feel good, the foods that make you feel bloated, the foods that make you feel horrible. You're mindful about how you feel when you don't work out. You're mindful about how you feel when you're sleep deprived. You're mindful about certain toxic people in your life that you now need to decide to either let go of or draw your boundaries. But without mindfulness, we just trudge through life, just taking everything that's dumped onto us. And then we wonder why we're burning out, why we're so overwhelmed. So mindfulness is the first word. The second 2 most powerful words, easy to say, difficult to practice, the power of acceptance and letting go. Think of any problem you have in your life right now. If you can either accept it or let go of it, is it a problem anymore? What's the difficulty with acceptance and letting go? We always want to be in control. The day you realize that the things that you cannot control, let them go or accept it. It doesn't mean you become a doormat. No, you're doing it for your own peace and your own health. But the moment, if you look at your list of stressors right now, and you see that 5 of these points that stress me out are things that I cannot control, but you're still trying to control them. Can a diet plan fix this problem? Can more exercise fix this problem? Can more sleep fix this problem? The answer is no. Acceptance can, or letting go. But why do we find it so difficult to accept and let go? Because the battle with the ego and pride. Why should I accept this? Why should I let go? How could she say this and get away? How can he say that? They can. No one ever told you people should say the things you want to hear. No one ever told you that people have to behave in the way you want them to behave. Everyone is different. 5 fingers. Remember uniqueness. So if you go through life wanting people to be a particular way, you've built a life of stress. And before I end, let me define stress. Stress is not a person. It's not a thing. It's not an event. Stress is the way you relate to a person, a thing, or an event. So you don't have to work on reducing stress in your life. You have to work on changing the way you relate to it. I can put 10 problems in this room. All of you won't be stressed by them. Some of you will see it as challenge. Some of you will be motivated. Some of you will feel stressed. It's the same 10 problems, but 10 different ways that you'll have related to it. So don't say your job is stressful. Say the way I relate to my job is stressful. Can you change that relationship? No, change your job. My relationship is stressful. Can you change your relationship? If yes, change it. If no, what do I need to accept because I can't let go of this relationship? Holistic wellness requires continuous work. If you're willing to put in the work, you will evolve, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually as well. But if you're not putting in the work because you feel entitled, oh, I'm the CEO, things have to be this way. I'm an actor, I'm an actress. I have so many crores in my bank account. Absolutely not. Before I end, my job and our job is to deal with dying patients. I talk to dying patients every single day. Let me tell you what I've learned from all of these dying patients. None of them talk about how much money they made in life. None of our dying patients talk about their fame and who they were. You know what they talk about? The memories they made, family, children, love, failed love, lost love. That's what people talk about on their deathbed. So if you're building an entire life around fame and money, I don't have a problem with that, but also build memories, also build meaningful relationships, build love, build things that when you think of, I can feel so good. So when there's stress that hits you in your life, all you got to think or remember is that child you have at home waiting for you to come, that beautiful relationship, memories, and all of a sudden you feel good. The essence of wellness finally is to feel good. And how do we achieve that? The 4 pillars that we spoke about: nutrition that suits you, exercise that works for you, quality sleep, not quantity, quality sleep, and emotional wellness. So when you tie these 4 things together, that is what builds the platform of this entire event today. Holistic wellness. You will have speakers who talk and inspire you today on the mind-body connection, on happiness, on fitness, on yoga, on pranayamas. Like I said, be proud of the country you live in. We have it all. But the point is, are we going to start using it? The last point that I always get asked, we have 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Motivation. If you are living your life dependent on motivation, I'll tell you right now that you're failing. Motivation has a shelf life. You can watch a different YouTube video every morning and get motivated for how long? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes? No. Motivation is nice for us, but you don't build your life depending on motivation. You build your life depending on discipline. I got motivated today to do 5 minutes of pranayama. Do I have the discipline and consistency to do that 5 minutes of pranayama now every day? And that is what your success is. Do I have the discipline and consistency to at least get 2 meals out of 3 meals right? Do I have the discipline and consistency to get at least 5 days out of 7 days good quality sleep? Take your weekend, enjoy it, be awake till 5 in the morning. We want balance, but can I get the other 5 nights right? Can I bring discipline and consistency in my emotional wellness? Whether it's my mindfulness practice, my meditation, my prayer, my practice to accept one new thing or let go of one new thing nothing in this world can be achieved without discipline and without consistency. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you for your patience.
We've had conversations in the past. I had that big conversation with you. We'll play that conversation, goes live soon on the site. I did a 91-minute interview with him in Goa, and I learned a lot. I'm now confused, Lou. When I first met you, I thought when I grow up, I want to be like you. And you said, I can't be like you now, right? But on a serious note, Luke, what keeps you going? You, in some way, you save people's lives. I know it sounds arrogant, God saves. But you are a catalyst in, let's say you're an instrument. What have you learned by treating terminally ill patients, people you said were dying? Give us the number one lesson you've learned.
I think it would be humility and humbleness. Because when you have the best of the best people dying, whether they're billionaires, actresses, actors, the who's and who's that we all look up to in some way or the other, we realize that we're all nothing. We're not nothing in that way. Of course, we're something. We're gifts of God. We're human beings. We have the gift of health. But we are actually a speck of dust amongst so much of talent. It's humility that I learn every single day. Like I said, there is so much to learn from people in this room. And they don't have to always be famous. I learn stuff from people I meet on airplanes, humility, humbleness lessons. And I think for us to succeed in life, no matter what our qualifications may be, no matter who we are, how much money we may be having, there is so much to learn. And when you look at dying people and you realize that they're moving on, I always say they're moving on to a better world. Because why should we say they're moving on to something that we don't know? Let's assume it's a better world, because that's where you're going to move when you die. So if you think someone's moving to a worse world, what happens when it's your time to die? So the whole point is we create what we think about. So I think humility is good. I'm not a saint. There are days I get angry. There are days I have envy. There are days, I'll be aggressive. I'm human and I'm happy about that. But it's the humbleness that reminds us that at the end of the day, you may use anger or you may use ego to project who you are. But be reminded that you're nothing. You still come back to who you are. You, like everyone else, you're going to die. You're going to go through suffering. You're going to go through everything in life. So I think that's the grounding.
And on top of you're married.
Yeah, I'm married.
Yeah. You're humble because you talked about being humble. On a serious note, let me ask you, you talked about consistency. You talked about mindfulness. You talked about gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance. Now, when you deal with these number of patients, people who seek your counseling, what are the one or two behaviors that stop people from not achieving their health goals, their immunity goals? You talk about consistency, right, and doing it right. What else?
So what we've learned in our practice, the biggest obstacle to someone's healing, whether it's a disease, whatever it is, whether it's weight loss, acne on the face, trying to sleep better, is the person's attitude. Like I said, you can have the best medicine, you can have the best gurus, you can have the best doctors, but if you have a poor attitude, no one can ever help you. No one can ever help you. And that's why when people come and say that I've tried everything, my point is you've tried 10 things in 1 month. You are not consistent with one thing. How do you know out of those 10 things you tried, it could have worked for you if you were consistent with maybe 1 or 2 of them? So consistency is everything when it comes to consistency and discipline.
Absolutely. And Luke, I also see this phenomena that people, they're trying to cure themselves. They go to Dr. Mickey Mehta, then they go to Dr. Kothari, then they go to Dr. Parekh. They do a lot of shopping, so to say, if I may use that word, or they don't trust in one person. How important do you believe it is to trust in one expert and then follow that expert's holistic integration?
So there are 2 ways. Sometimes you may get results with one person and sometimes you may not get results. So it's okay to move around, but the point is if you're moving around because you feel I want quick results. And if I don't get results in 1 week with this person, I'm going to go to the next and the next. You're going to always shop around for people. Because like I said, if it took someone 5 years to put on weight, you can't lose it in 1 month. It's going to take longer. So if you're not willing to be patient, because instant gratification today and quick fixes is what's really, causing disruption in people's health. Everyone wants everything quick, which is why, painkillers and drugs work really, really quickly because they need something really quick. But people need patience. They need to understand that the human body has an intelligence of its own and it requires patience in order to get better. Yeah.
Let me bring in the audience. They're here for you. Dr. Sameer Parekh has come in. Also, Preeti is here, so we'll try to keep you all already running late, so we'll get a couple of audience questions. Is Mr. Khandelwal wants to, there are mics here. Also, keep your questions short and sweet. And can we rotate the mics faster? Yeah.
Hello. Luke, it was a wonderful session, and trust me, it was a dialogue with self, what you were talking. Very interesting. And you talked about the inflammation, you talked about the oxidative stress in some manner. What I would like to know that we are made of trillions of cells, and these cells are memory boxes. And somewhere or the other, these memories of the past, they are stored inside. And these memories, they come again and again. So how, to get out of those memories of the past and replace them with goodness or those beautiful words of wisdom you spoke about. So I would like you to reflect on this.
Emotional healing.
So technically, whenever we're trying to create a new habit, so if I constantly think that this bottle of water is bad, I create a memory that this bottle of water is bad. Now, how do I change this? Because now all of a sudden I know that this isn't actually bad. I'm giving you an example. It is possibly bad because it's in plastic, but forget about that. The point is, I can't tell you now, forget about what I said. So now every time you see this bottle, the first thought that will come to your mind is this bottle of water is bad. But I do have the knowledge now that this actually has health benefits. So I create a new neural pattern, which is a memory, by overriding the old one. Can I motivate you to stop brushing your teeth in the morning? Impossible. Why? Because you've done it with habit. Consistently doing it, I can't change your ways of brushing your teeth. But now, if I start overriding that habit, that if you brush your teeth 1 hour later, you get these benefits. And every time you go to brush your teeth, you don't brush your teeth. And you start doing it 1 hour later, you develop a new pattern. So we get away with negative patterns and memories by creating new ones over it. You can never forget them. It has to be rebuilt over with practice. That's why affirmations, positive self-talk, all of these things build new habits.
Thank you so much. One more question we'll take. Anybody has any? Dr. Daksh Bhagwaj has a question. Can we have, these girls having mics on all sides?
Yeah, Luke, brilliant it was. Just one aspect I wanted to add. As you said, anger and discomfort mentally. If one was to listen to your conscious, the Atma, you can even get to peace if you were to follow that.
Absolutely.
That's one thing I wanted to add.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
In a voice.
Yeah. Any last question? We have Luke here. So, Jwalanji, the gentleman here, Pritika wants to ask a question. Yes, give it. There are mics here. Take more mics.
Hi.
Time I'm pointing.
Thank you very much for your beautiful information. But thing is that once we go to heal ourselves, we should experience wholeness. Wholeness, healing, health, holiness, these all are the same word of experiencing wholeness. So once we are experiencing wholeness, what is the best way to experience the wholeness?
Why do we not feel whole right now?
Yes.
We're already whole. Everyone is whole. Yeah. But what's coming in between us are our own mindsets. We've put conditions. I'll be only happy when I get that promotion. So you're not whole anymore. You've made yourself. You're whole the way you are right now. So most of us are already whole, but the conditions we've put are our own limitations to our own wholeness.
Yeah, and I think the meditation helps in.
Absolutely. And looking inwards again.
Yeah.
Last question from Pritika.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. There are more mics here. Please take them from the stage.
Thank you so much, Luke. It's been an amazing experience hearing you for the first time physically, one-on-one. My question to you would be, you spoke about acceptance and letting go. We all know, and very well said when you said that action speaks louder than words. So practice is the key. But then when we say let it go, what are the techniques we can apply in a daily lives which can help us to let go those bad memories? What just now Anil Khandelwalji raised the question, because all of us are having bad experiences on a daily basis. Like in last 2 years, the journey has been really difficult.
Understood. How do you rewire your brain?
So you can't let go of a memory. Like I said, you got to rebuild it. So now if a memory comes up, oh, my family suffered during COVID and so happened. If you keep thinking that, you're making that memory stronger. So every time the memory comes, accept it. Oh, I lost family members during the COVID, but now I've understood the importance of immunity and family time, and this is what I'm going to do. So you got to reframe it. You can never let go of a bad memory, but you can build over it. So that's what you got to do. So letting go is not just memories. Sometimes you got to let go of a person from your organization, a person from your friend circle, because they're not serving you anymore. So letting go is not just the memory, it's even people. Or letting go of a bad habit, smoking, chewing tobacco. You got to let go of that habit. So you can never let go of a negative memory. People try to block out negative memories. You can't. It will come up over and over again. You got to build on it, that every time a negative memory, I don't like that person, but let me see what other goodness I can find in him. So we train our minds, our subconscious mind. You can never erase, but you can rebuild over it.
Thank you so much. Luke, my last question before you let you go. You achieved fame at such a young age. You achieved in some way equanimity, wisdom, experience, wealth, great health. What is left for Luke to do in the next 10 years?
I don't care about fame and I don't care about anything that you said. I care about wealth because that's what feeds my family and myself. What I care about is doing what I'm supposed to do every day. I know I have a gift. My gift is with my patients, and my only job is to keep doing that. So my patients are always first. Everything else is secondary.
Fantastic. Give Luke Coutinho a big round of applause. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing what you do and curing people. There's an interview on bwwellbeingworld.com.
I would like to hold you back on stage, Luke.
Can we just play that snippets of that quickly so that you can go on and watch? It's a 91-minute conversation.
Luke, thank you for talking to BW Wellbeing World. We are delighted that you're talking to us. This is Luke Coutinho. We don't really need an introduction.
So this is, we're already running late, but it's on the BW Wellbeing World platform. That's okay. That's okay. So you can also, the next issue of BW Wellbeing World, it's a monthly. You can subscribe to the magazine. I promise you, it will change your life. You can change your life, but it'll be a catalyst. So I just want you to give Luke a big round of applause again. And I would request all the speakers shorten their things by 5 minutes. We started late. Dr. Sameer Parekh is there. Dr. Kothari is there. So we'll move on to the next session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Batra. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm sorry to cut you off. Please be on stage for another few seconds. We have a souvenir memento coming on stage for Luke. We have Mr. Harbinder Narula joining us to present this memento to Luke Coutinho and Dr. Batra. Please join us.
And clapping is good for heart muscles. The doctor told me if you clap, you don't have to go for a walk.
And today we have got a lot of occasions and moments to clap for. So just get your heart racing, get your mind absolutely centered to what's happening on the stage, because it's an incredible day, like I've been saying since morning. It's truly ecstatic to be in the company of all of you people working and serving in the health and wellness space in the country.